What if I told you there was a Canada that didn't have coalition governments? They didn't have forced agendas by a political party. What if I told you there was equal representation across the country from province to province? What if I told you that this government could no longer make backroom deals and silence critics and pass through a law? It sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But it doesn't have to be, because it's not, and it can happen. You see, there is a low morality right now in Canada because I feel, that your voices are not heard. Your vote no longer matters. There is no longer democracy in Canada. But what if I told you, you have the power, I have the power to bring that democracy back? But I don't just mean democracy. I mean a true democracy. And what is that? What does that look like? How about taking the federal government out of the picture? When they want to pass a bill and they want to impose on your rights and my rights, let's call it carbon tax, or let's call it the carbon pricing, or electric vehicle mandate by 2030. They want to force you to buy things. That's a thing of the past. How is that done? Well, you see, there are countries already in the world, on the planet, that are using this system. And Switzerland is one of them. And what is that system? You vote. You heard me right. You vote in laws. You take votes out, or laws out. You make changes to regulations and laws. As a matter of fact, they have been using this system in Switzerland for over 150 years. Almost 700 recorded referendums. Bills being passed, not approved, changed. Even their own constitution. You don't have private property rights. Well, guess what? Now you can. You now have the power to make that decision, not government. Not because of their own personal selfishness and their own self-driven reasons. You have the power. But how does a system like that work here in Canada? Well, in Canada, it has to be a hybrid system because we're much larger and we have provinces in the population. So there will be no more Ontario and Quebec dictating to the rest of Canada what laws and regulations come into effect and how those laws affect the rest of the provinces. A thing of the past. Because one, the citizens recognize a bill or a law that is coming into play. And they think it's important enough that the citizens from coast to coast vote. So they initiate a referendum, and they do that by placing a vote, a signature. And when the allotted signatures are collected and it's reached, they now call for a referendum. Immediately, the system is in place, it's engaged, and the government is taken out of the picture. Now the government has a responsibility to you, the voter, to come up with information provided to you, to collect that information and read it. But wait a minute, where's the debate? That's the beauty of the system. You see, the opposition, it just doesn't matter what party you're on. It could be liberals, it could be conservative, it doesn't matter. You receive the government's proposal of why they think a law should be in place, taken out, or changed, or whatever. But then the opposition does the same. They criticize it and they list it. So now this is the beauty. You can read it yourself, and you read the opposition. You read the negatives against it, and you decide as a voter. And there's no influence by media. No longer does the CBC have influence over you because you only hear 5-second sound bites on a certain subject. You decide. And how do you receive that information? Well, it could be digitally, or it could be done on hard copy. It's your choice. Everything is your choice, not the government. It's your choice what you want to read. It is your choice what you want to feel about these new laws. Then you place a vote. And that vote could be done within a certain time period of 4 months so that everybody across Canada gets the same information. and they do their own research. But wait a minute, what about Ontario and Quebec? They hold the majority of the votes, but that's the beauty of a hybrid system. It also includes the provinces. So it doesn't matter where you live in Canada, on east, west, it doesn't matter. Your vote now matters. Your voice now matters, because not only do you need a certain percentage of the votes, 50% plus one or whatever the heck the number could be, you also need a certain amount majority of the provinces. Let's say 6 out of 10 provinces have to agree. If they don't, the bill doesn't go through. The change doesn't go through. Do you see the beauty of the system? It is 100% power in your hands. So I am proposing the Canadian Citizen Referendum Act. And I will be presenting this to my friends to bring to Parliament, to bring to the Conservatives, and they can pass it on to the Liberals or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you are a critic and you think this doesn't work because it's going to cost so much money, well, guess what? A federal election is between $400 and $500 million. $400 or $500 million. This system, based on Switzerland's system, which we're going to have to hybrid it to make it to fit Canada, will probably cost around $75 to $150 million to initiate from scratch, from zero up, okay? Once it's running and a referendum is called, you're recycling the system over and over again, and it now only costs $15 million to $20 million. You're saving the country millions of dollars. And you are taking the power out of the government's hands and you're putting it back into your hands. That, my friends, is democracy. So if you don't think it works, tell that to Switzerland, who's been using this system for over 150 years. And where do they rank on the G7 quality of life? Where's Canada? Why is that? Because of government overreach. You're taking that away, my friends. You're putting the power back into your hands. This is the change that Canada needs. You need this. I need this. Canada needs this. The time for change is now. And this can happen. This is a reality. And guess what? The government does not have a choice. They cannot stop you if you want this system. They can't stop you. It just has to move forward. That's all. Because this isn't about politics. This is about making sure that people have a voice. Your voice. It's about making sure that your voice is heard again. Your vote matters again. So I put it out to you. What do you think? Do you think that Canadians deserve change? Do you think that a government is overstepping its bounds and will continue to do so? Should be taken out of the equation and the power put back into the hands of myself and you. That is true democracy. And that is the drastic change that Canada needs. But what do you think? Is it something that you would look into? Is it look like something that you would favor? Or is it just bullshit? Never going to work. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious, because I think the change needs to be done. And I think the time is now.